Well, the Dodgers are up 3-0 in the World Series, and for two guys with pretty good mustaches that cover the NL West that don't cover the Dodgers, it's possibly the darkest timeline. We are talking about Game 3 of the World Series right now in 30 seconds. Don't go anywhere. And welcome in to another edition of the PHNX D-Backs podcast right here on PHNX. And I don't even know if we're allowed to still call it that with how little we're talking about the Diamondbacks both tonight and lately. I am thrilled to be joined by my partner in crime from last postseason and just in life in general. It's the one and only Patrick Lyons, aka Patty Plantains. Patrick, this was a World Series that was supposed to be for the ages, and I'm not going to say these games haven't been good, but maybe it's just because the Dodgers are now one win away from being crowned champions that this suddenly turned, and I don't like it. I'm not having a good time.
I think Game 3, this was definitely that one where had the Yankees won, it would have felt like this is more of a series. Obviously not now with the Dodgers up 3-0 and the Yankees really just not having much of a fight in them. They're trying to, but they're just getting beat down in the worst way. So this would have been a really good one to provide some hope, to provide a little bit more length, and valuable, meaningful length rather than, the Yankees get one more now. It still seems like it's all Dodgers.
Yeah.
So this was
it's like that. It's like the home run there in the 9th inning by Alex Verdugo, right? It's exciting that he hit it, but you still felt like they cut the lead in half. They were still too far away from being able to actually tie it up, even though it was nice to see them get on the board and do something, make this game exciting. The Dodgers pitching has somehow been incredible in this series, and the Yankees just look befuddled out there at times, especially their big stars. Meanwhile, Freddie Freeman is thriving in the biggest spotlight. He hits his fifth consecutive game with a home run and in the World Series, and that's kind of a pretty impressive feat.
Yeah, going back to 2021 games 5 and 6 with Atlanta, I would argue, Derek, that Freddie Freeman is going to be haunting the dreams of more Yankees fans than Freddie Krueger ever possibly could. And I looked this up, no joke. Freddie Krueger's full name is Frederick Charles Krueger. Freddie Freeman, Frederick Charles Freeman.
No.
He's closed.
Oh my God, it's a nightmare for sure. It's a nightmare for the Yankees fans for sure. But yeah, way to go on that. That's a pretty good Halloween pool. And I mean, overall, this was a pretty exciting game. I felt like the pre-game excitement was huge. There was just so much stuff happening pre-game. You have Leslie Odom Jr. opens up with a powerful national anthem that was beautiful.
That was great.
And then you also have this like rap battle now going on after the Dodgers pulled out Ice Cube in Game 2. Fat Joe comes out. He performed to counter Ice Cube's performance. We're going to get into it. It wasn't great. It wasn't the highest level of rapper that you could have brought out to perform. I like Fat Joe. I'm going to have to say negative things about Fat Joe here later in the show, and I'm not excited about that. But the Yankees, I mean, it's like a small example of the Yankees just coming up short in comparison to the Dodgers in this series.
No, that's a fair point. Like, it really seemed as if they were going to pull out all the stops with Derek Jeter throwing out the first pitch, sort of like he's your Mariano Rivera to say, we need a little extra oomph. We need Jeter immediately in Game 3. We're not saving him for Game 4. We're not going to save him for Game 5 to continue that momentum going into LA. They used him up now. And on the list of 100 greatest New York rappers, you go with number 67. I met Fat Joe. I met Fat Joe once at a New
What
Jersey
list
Nets
was that?
game.
Where's that? Where are you getting this information from?
It's over on the Rockies Insider. It's
All
I've
right,
got
there we
weird
go.
stuff
There
over
we
there.
go.
No, I met Fat Joe once at a New Jersey Nets game. Very nice guy, but he
Yeah.
had some better options. I'm wondering if just everybody is embroiled in the P. Diddy controversy. So that just really decorated a lot of people. Got to cross
It's
this
a good
guy out.
point.
Who's left? Fat Joe was never really invited. Nobody liked him. He was never that great of a rapper. Let's have him do like 4 seconds of a couple songs. Done.
Yeah, Jay-Z definitely said hard pass for sure. But we also had Shohei Ohtani showing up in a sling after dislocating his shoulder there on a slide in game 2. He did not get a hit in this game. And I mean, again, that just, I felt like added to the excitement. But like you said, Yankees win this game. This series feels different. It feels like they have life. That prior to the game felt very much like an ominous sign for the Dodgers. Like, this is not going their way. He was still able to go out there. He walks in his first at bat, and then Freddie Freeman again. Freddie Freeman did the thing. He homered in the first inning, scoring Ohtani. He's now hit a home run in 5 consecutive World Series games. He didn't do much outside of that, but it was enough in a fairly low-scoring game where Walker Buehler threw 5 scoreless innings.
I think this just speaks to the depth of both of these teams and their star power. And you're right. It seems like it's fallen a little bit flat, or at least it's leveled off after the excitement of those first 2 games. Because if you just have a lopsided series, it just loses that oomph. But you've got so many other players to step up when, okay, Ohtani's out. He's got the sling on the shoulder. He's looking a little like Akira Shida. And you're like, okay, that's a good gimmick. But for the most part, you got to have other guys step up and and have the big swing. And it's been all about Freddie Freeman. I think he's got all 3 game-winning RBI in all 3 of these games, and he's got MVP locked up in a major way. And Mookie Betts, he was fine offensively. He got I think he came through with the second run scoring inning for the Dodgers in the 3rd inning, and then you got to see his defense on a couple plays. So everyone's chipping in on the Dodgers, and they're just winning baseball games. They're not necessarily blowing anybody out, but they are just winning baseball games against the American League's finest club. Let's not forget, the New York Yankees were the best team in the American League all season long, throughout the playoffs, and here they are now getting belittled by the NL West's big brother.
Yeah. And I mean, again, it's something we know all too well. We've seen it with this Dodgers team. But I think the thing that kind of drives you nuts is that the Dodgers did all the small things well, and they continue to during this World Series, and during this postseason run. Just in general, they have the power. They have Freddie Freeman doing his thing lately, but he wasn't. He was not this for a stretch during the postseason, and they had rely on guys like Kike Hernandez, who comes through again with another RBI single tonight. That's his 6th RBI of the postseason, if I'm not mistaken. Gavin Lux scored by getting hit by a pitch and then getting on and then stealing a base and then getting in on a single, right? So like just those kind of things is very helpful when it comes to this team, right? Like they don't necessarily have to rely on the home run ball. They don't have to rely on the power. They don't have to rely on their stars, because guys 1 through 9 are getting the job done, especially in the case like to like Mookie Betts and Ohtani kind of being quiet.
You take care of the little things, the big things take care of themselves. And while the Dodgers are doing that, the Yankees aren't. As you mentioned, Gavin Lux getting hit by a pitch. He ends up advancing on a wild pitch. And you had that in 2 of I think 3 of the first 4 innings,
right?
2 of which the Dodgers scored, where Clark Schmidt's given up a free pass, Gleyber Torres, or rather Ohtani in that first inning. And so if those leadoff walks will come back to haunt you, and they've absolutely haunted the Yankees. You can't be giving up those many free opportunities and free bases. And the Dodgers are taking advantage of them. Again, they're not blowing the Yankees out of the water, but it is very one-sided because the Dodgers aren't making the same mistakes as the Yankees, who are making defensive miscues. Jazz got bailed out by that double play that Volpe ended up making there when Freeman ended up reaching. But that's an error that you can't afford to make. And, the Dodgers aren't making those mistakes, and the Yankees have been.
You brought up the pitching again. Walker Buehler, a pleasant surprise for the Dodgers. He goes 5 innings tonight, gives up 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 2 walks, 5K. Nothing special. Again, not a tremendously long outing, but enough to get to this bullpen. And Dave Roberts has been utilizing all the parts of his bullpen. He doesn't seem to really be shying away from any of his relievers. And at this point, he seems to be trusting guys that even some of his guys that didn't have a strong season.
Yeah, sure. You saw Daniel Hudson going out there today.
Oh, Daniel Hudson. Huddy, we miss him so much still.
Yeah. And even with the bullpen game coming up tomorrow, this game becomes all the more important to win, even if you do have to use some of your better arms. And we saw Brazier going out there for an inning and Michael Kopech. And sure, that makes winning game 4 in a bullpen day that much harder for the Dodgers. But if you would have lost game 3 and then have had to dealt with the bullpen game, now all of a sudden it's 2-2. So you've got to win this game. And so I think Roberts is pushing all the right buttons with these guys. I mean, you saw Alex Vesia in game 2 through the first ever 1-pitch save in World Series history. And then here he is on Monday night, throwing the 6th inning, like trying to get out number 18. So it's really about mixing and matching in all the right ways. And it really feels like the Dodgers have that roster to allow their manager to do that. Whereas the Yankees are just holding on hope that either Soto, Judge, or Stanton is going to end up pulling through. And that unfortunately hasn't been the case, really.
I really thought that bullpen game was going to catch up to them. I thought that was going to be like a really weak moment for them. And depending on how, things went prior to that, they could be in a bad position. They did utilize their bullpen a lot so far in this series, but then you just have them continuing to find success. And again, now they're in a position where they do have that bullpen game going in game 4, which is a game that you on paper might have figured would go the Yankees' way. So it's not a terrible time to go to the bullpen because, you're coming back to Los Angeles if it does extend past that. You also have the fact that this Yankees team doesn't, they got the home run tonight off Kopech, but they don't really seem to be figuring out the Dodgers relievers very much. And honestly, I think there's a good chance that they might continue to do the thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Dodgers do close this out in game 4 with that bullpen start, which just seems so unlikely at one point, but I don't know, not so much now.
That was one of the advantages I thought the Yankees had coming into the series, is the fact that they had more depth because they had 4 starting pitchers. And I thought that even their best 3 would probably be able to match the Dodgers. So that was an advantage. I thought when the games got later is when you would see the Dodgers pull ahead with, again, so many players with that postseason experience, whereas the Yankees, they don't have quite as many guys. And it's actually been the reverse. The Dodgers jump out to that early lead. They hold on to it. They maintain it. And they're fine. And so that edge that the Yankees have had, we just haven't seen it yet. I think it'll appear in game 4. And despite the fact that the Dodgers don't need to win this game, when Landon Knack goes out there for whatever it is going to be, 2, 3, 4 innings, he wants to be a part of the game in which the Dodgers clinched to win the first World Series in a regular year. And in the first season that they'll be able to have a World Series parade since 1988. Ben Kasparius, put him in the exact same boat. So if you had those 2 guys combining on 7+ innings tomorrow night, that wouldn't totally shock you, because again, the Dodgers can get this done now. Great. Because look, the one team across from them that knows a lot about coming back from a 3-0 deficit, it would be the Yankees, who had that happen to them in the ALCS in 2004. And Aaron Boone was a part of that team who got to experience that. And in fact, the guy who stole the base to spark the rally in game 4 is managing the Los Angeles Dodgers in Dave Roberts. So the Dodgers, if they can put that final nail in the coffin, they are absolutely going to do it on Tuesday night.
It's time for me to once again do what I always do, which is try to figure out how this situation can benefit me, Patrick. And that very much so. And so, as being teams in the National League West, obviously, I'm sure deep down inside, I know you don't have a real rooting interest, wink, but deep down inside, I think there's part of us that kind of expects the Dodgers a little bit to fail based on their past performances, even though this is a completely different team. And we also expect the Dodgers, kind of want the Dodgers to fail, but is there any benefit to them winning the World Series to our teams, to the rest of the National League West? Is there any chance that the Dodgers winning a World Series causes them to not go out and do something insane this offseason and add Juan Soto to their roster, or continue to try to even improve a team that went to the World Series because financially they just can? Like, is there a little bit of that when it comes to, watching them perform the way they are right now?
No, I think
No.
I want to say it felt like, so 2 years ago, I can remember when the Padres were becoming this juggernaut 2-3 years
Right.
ago.
Right.
And there was a narrative, at least in my head, that I created of like, you know what, this could be, a good thing for the Padres to go out and knock the Dodgers down and maybe kind of balance the playing field just a little bit. And then maybe it's better for the Dodgers to knock the Padres out so they're out of the way. And again, there was room for a spin, but there really is just no room for a spin where if the Dodgers win or lose, they are still going to come back in 2025 to try to get this thing done. I would argue that they're probably looking at the valuation of their club probably still being behind the New York Yankees worldwide as far as a franchise, saying that's what we're trying to get to be number one. And we do that by having our own dynasty like the Yankees did in the 90s. And they brought in international players like Hideki Irabu and Hideki Matsui.
Yeah.
And so now we've got to go out and win a couple World Series in a row here. And sure, all right, we've got 2 over the course of 5 seasons between 2020 and 2024, but we still need to win a couple more. We're going to bring in Roki Sasaki, perhaps from Japan. Juan Soto, maybe they're going to throw the bag at him. I don't know, but I don't really see there being any feel-good story coming out of either the Dodgers winning this or losing this to make it any better for the denizens of the NL West.
Nando says y'all hate the Dodgers but make videos about them every night. And Patrick, that is, both of those things are true. I'm not going to defend this podcast from that. I will say, unfortunately, the reason why we have to make videos about the Dodgers is because in an effort to not really drag on this postseason and make our lives miserable, we've tried to cover the postseason despite the Diamondbacks not being in it. And unsuccessfully, because the allegations charged against me, Patrick, are quite a bit. There's a lot of talk about me being a secret Dodgers fan and such, but I do want to make it clear, I don't want to do this. I hate this. I hate myself every night that we do this. So I just want to let everybody know. But I do find this to be a fantastic World Series. I don't like this. I don't want the Dodgers to go out there and dominate it. I honestly wanted to see, no matter what direction this went, for it to go 7 games. And I hope that's still the case. It just doesn't look very likely now with, the way this Dodgers team is playing, which is perfect baseball. Like, they are practically playing flawless baseball. And they already have, arguably the best lineup that, in all of baseball.
This offseason or this postseason is the antithesis of 2023. You had the Diamondbacks going unexpectedly to the World Series, and now this year the Dodgers expectedly going to the World Series in the matter of 12 months. So it's a total flip. And the bottom line is, despite the deforestation of planet Earth, we all got to go out and buy that Kindle of wood to keep the house warm. So you know what? I know we say one thing, but we still end up doing the other. It is what it is.
I mean, I do have this for you, and of course, it's time to give out our king snake, which is very upsetting to a lot of people whenever we do that. But I think, once again, we're sticking to our guns. Nobody gets the king snake. We've continued to learn our lesson. And Patrick, I don't know if you know this, but we did give it out after, I believe, the final game of the Mets-Dodgers series to Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and I've not lived that down since that day. So
wow, interesting. Why not again, getting creative? You can give it to nobody. I mean, did Ice Cube get it for game 2? You could have gone that route.
Yeah, he probably should have gotten it for game 2.
Now my dad spotted somehow Pat Sajak in the second row behind home plate.
Sajak.
And also later on, I spotted Lorne Michaels and Jimmy Fallon sitting there. And then even
Who
when
had
they went
better
around,
seats? Who had better seats, Pat Sajak or Lorne Michaels?
let me think here. The guy who paid $1 million. Yeah, Lorne Michaels and Jimmy Fallon. Come on,
okay.
Of course.
I was just checking. I don't know.
Sajak
Pat
wrote too,
Sajak's
though.
got that. He's got that Wheel of Fortune money, though. You know,
He's got that Vanna
Anyway.
cash, baby.
Yeah. Well, of course, we do have to talk about some more stuff with this game. So I apologize now, but a lot of it is mostly who we would have come out perform for our respective teams. Again, though, don't get into this kind of contest with the Dodgers. Don't get into any kind of celebrity one-upsmanship contest with the Dodgers because you will lose. And we're going to talk about it. I did want to talk about our PHNX Diehard membership, of course, which right now is at an amazing $48 for an introductory offer. So if you haven't had a chance to check it out, come join us, join the gang. You get all sorts of content. You get our Diehard membership card. You get a free shirt of your choice from the locker. You also get access to all of our premium written content, entrance to the Discord lounge, discounts on our events, and of course our exclusive content like Ask Archie, which just dropped, our new Q&A for Diehards with questions from Diehards for Archie, and so much more. Excuse me. So make sure to join us over here. We're having a fun time. Of course, on the other side of this break, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the stats from this game. And of course, also a little bit about the ratings, because of course, you know, the Yankees and the Dodgers are going to bring people to the television set. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Of course, Patrick, you're here on Blue Chew night, and that's a great night to be here because Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost in a chewable form. Why is that important on a night where Patrick Lyons is here? Because sometimes when I need a little assistance, I call in Patrick Lyons. Not in that way, just on this show, get your mind out of the gutter, but in a metaphorical way, you could also call on Blue Chew when you need that assistance in the bedroom. I mean, again, do you think you don't need it? Are you that confident you don't? Try it for a month and see. You're going to love it. But more importantly, your partner is going to love it. They say there's nothing sexier than confidence, and Blue Chew can help you get that confidence where it counts. This man next to me has no problem with confidence at all. But we do have a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew for free right now when you use our promo code of ALLCITY at checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping. That's bluechew.com. Promo code ALLCITY to receive your first month free. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And of course, we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast.
I tell you what,
also,
I'm a big, I will support Blue Chew and say this, Rob Manfred is not going to be testing your urine or doing a blood test. So go ahead. If you need a performance enhancer, go right ahead.
There you go.
Yeah, no one's held out of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
no one's putting asterisks next to your 3.5 minutes. No one.
Well, I'll tell you something that goes hand in hand with Blue Chew, and that's a night out at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, and you can figure that out on your own. But of course, if you want to have a fun staycation here in town, you want to go out for a fun, exciting night, hit the tables, hit the slots. They have over 4,500 slots at their 4 Valley locations. Of course, you can catch all the action and the sports world at any of their sports books with an unprecedented level of entertainment and excitement that you just won't find anywhere else. Check out Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Belly on up and let them show you what next level is all about. Of course, right now we will be hosting all of our events there all year long. Not all of them, but some events there all year long, including Cardinals and Suns watch parties and more. So stay tuned on how to come hang out with us. Of course, even if we're not out there, you do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathila.com for more details. All right, well, let's take a look at the count presented by Desert Financial Credit Union and review some of these stats from this game. Dodgers win this one by a score of 4-2. Both teams with 5 hits. Dodgers were 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position to the Yankees 2 for 6. There were 2 extra base hits there for the Yankees and just that one big homer by Freddie Freeman for the Dodgers. Expected batting average here, 260 for the Dodgers, 179 for the Yankees. The Yankees continue to struggle here, and I feel like Dave Roberts gives them a lot of different looks, but I also felt like, once again, that I just thought by now the bullpen usage would have caught up with them. They are seeing a lot of these guys, multiple times in this series, And again, they have that bullpen game coming up tomorrow. I've just been impressed by guys like Anthony Banda and, some of these other Daniel Hudson, some of these other former Diamondbacks players that are here in the World Series getting the job done for Los Angeles, unfortunately.
I really thought the fact that the Dodgers needed Buehler to have some depth was going to benefit the Yankees, like especially if they were able to scratch away a couple runs, right? It's 3-0 going into the bottom of the third. If they're able to get 3 runs, you know what? They might leave Buehler out there a little longer because you need those outs, and that's going to benefit you and really being able to load up against him. And that just never happened. He was great. Struck out 4 in a row at one point, only gave up 2 hits over his 5 innings pitch. Probably could have stayed out there a little bit longer. But again, going back to what we talked about earlier, if you can lock up game 3, that's it. Again, it's only one team has ever come back down 0-3, and it was in the ALCS. It was not in the World Series. Totally different home field advantage for the Dodgers here. So you might as well get that W. I think Buehler, that was a masterful performance, and the Dodgers needed that to really lock this series up.
He was the big question mark, right? Like, how far was he going to go? What was he going to give you? And I mean, he's been a fairly open book about sucking during the regular season. He was on the post-game show tonight talking about how, he just wanted to be good when it mattered the most. And he has been for this Dodgers team. And it's I think it was the big question mark for Los Angeles. Like, how are they going to match up with the Dodgers pitching wise? And they've somehow done a great job of doing that.
Yeah, was able to carry a no-hitter into the 4th inning before that double by Stanton. So, I don't know if he was on Blue Chew or what, but he definitely has some staying power. And now the dude, because don't forget in 2020 that he was kind of like his breakout in a big way. He now has a .50, so half of one, a .50 ERA in 18 innings pitched in the World Series, tied for 3rd lowest with pitchers with at least 15 innings. So this is a guy going into free agency that, the Dodgers are going to have to figure out what they're going to do. But nevertheless, Walker Buehler really pulled through in a spot that will not be forgotten anytime soon by Dodgers fans.
Well, Patrick, it is Monday, and normally on Monday, we do this thing around here called Mailbag Monday. I mean, normally every year is our year. Every month is Hispanic Heritage Month. Every week is Shark Week. Every day is Earth Day. Then on Mondays, we get questions from the audience. We didn't get a chance to do that tonight with the post-game show, but the questions are still happening in the chat. Piece of Yoshi is asking questions to other people in the chat. Our known Dodger fan friend, Maria, is here. And Piece of Yoshi asks, Maria, your team has only lost twice since Perdomo's Instagram post. Do you think it was the catalyst? If you're not familiar with this, Patrick.
Catch me up, because that's my dude, Perdomo.
Perdomo did tweet out an Instagram post, I believe it was a story that said, F the Dodgers. I'll let you fill in the rest of it. I'm not allowed to say those words anymore. But since then, he is they've only lost, I think, 2 games. And who's asking, are we allowed to blame Jerry? I don't know. I still blame the Padres. I felt like the Padres, that was a lot in one game, man. And I mean, if you talk about really poking the bear, if you really talk about trying to aggravate an opponent into like just stepping up to you, it was a true bully moment by the Padres to just like poke their chest during a game and see what would happen. And it's like the Dodgers have just been unstoppable since then, right? And it's kind of an incredible thing. They brought it again. That's something else they brought up on the podcast or on the broadcast tonight, was just where they were at when they were down 2-1 to the Padres and everything that they've done since then.
And game 4 in San Diego, obviously going the Padres' way there. And then, Dodgers pitching goes on and does not allow a single run over the next 2 games. Yeah. And that created the monster that we have in front of us. It's almost a miracle that the Mets were even able to win 2 games, because even in the games that they won, they were pretty darn close because the Dodgers would not give up. No, we might be able to come back and win this game. We don't think you guys are that good, so we might as well steal this back from you. And then the games that the Dodgers won, they completely wiped the Mets out of the water. So and they're they're doing that in a World Series sense to the Yankees, and it's been incredible, and it's been enjoyable to watch from the perspective of just seeing excellence. But as far as just the entire World Series is concerned, has been, I think, a little bit of a letdown because the Yankees have been so lackluster.
Yeah.
Mostly Aaron Judge.
We want to see a good
That's really what
fight.
it is.
I don't want to watch any one-sided fight, and I don't want to see any one-sided series of multiple games where it's just one team winning it. I mean, especially if my team's not in it. I don't care. I lose interest fast, but the interest has been there, Patrick. The ratings are through the roof. Through the first two games, the World Series has averaging 14.5 million viewers, which obviously is nearly double of what the average was last year for a World Series between the Diamondbacks and the Texas Rangers, and is on par with, kind of being even more popular than the NBA Finals. Obviously, the two teams that are in it have a huge impact on the popularity and people watching, but it's still something that, is there. I like, if there was ever a time I would say that MLB would be in a conspiracy to extend the series, it would be this one, because this is one where they would absolutely love to squeeze the juice on it and get 7 games out of something that has so many people watching it.
If this were WWE, Rob Manfred could just come out and say, "Oh, by the way, this is a best of 9, and games 8 and 9 are going to be played at the Sphere in Las Vegas." And you're like, "Whoa, okay, what a swerve!" Like, okay, but it's baseball. No, we play by the rules here, and yeah, it's almost like the people that end up buying the Logan Paul. Wait, which Paul do we have? No, not Logan. Who's the other Paul? Who's fighting Mike Tyson?
Jake Paul.
Jake. So it's like Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. You're going to pay, you're excited. And then if there's like a first round knockout by Mike Tyson, and you're like, that was cool, but it also kind of fell short a little bit because then it just gets reduced to a little clip that you see online now. I don't know.
And there's no winner there, because if Mike Tyson beats Jake Paul, you'll say, yeah, of course, it was Mike Tyson. He had no business fighting him. But if then Jake Paul wins, you're like, yeah, how old is Mike Tyson? I mean, why are you fighting an old man, guy? What are you doing here? Right? Like, so, and it's I guess just like this, what we would want to see out of that is an actual good boxing match. We wouldn't want to see a first round knockout. I mean, that would even be one that if it went to decision, I think people would be thrilled versus it going another way, just because, hey, we actually saw a real boxing match, unless it's a bunch of hugging and not doing nothing. And, that can also happen. But I think really what we just wanted to see here is more of a fight. And after this loss today, it feels like, the interest might dwindle. It'd be interesting to see what the ratings are like for a game 4 tomorrow. I mean, they kind of have the stage themselves a bit. I know NBA is back. I know NHL is back, but I really do feel like on a Tuesday night that the World Series should be number 1 up there at the top as far as things, people are watching.
And it'll be interesting to see if perhaps Roberts gives Ohtani a day off. I don't think so, because again, if you are going out to try to win that game, you want to put your best foot forward. But that would be wild if Ohtani wasn't in the lineup. I don't think a less than name brand starting pitcher is going to impact the casual, right? The sports fan, just the non-hardcore baseball fan. That's not going to really sway things that much. But if Ohtani's not in the lineup, then you could lose a lot of viewers in doing something like that. So I think there'll still be a ton of people, watching these games. I do hope they can at least get 5 out of it to make it somewhat interesting, but it's been a disappointment for where we're at right now. It was fun the first 2, good for Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
Good for Ohtani. He's going to win the World Series, and it seems like he can do everything. I sort of fantasy booked him going out onto the mound in the 9th inning to get the final 3 outs, because you go, what else can't this guy possibly do? But that becomes then the narrative for, next year is, okay, Dodgers win the World Series in 2024. Well, they haven't won it with Ohtani on the mound. So now they're going to try to go back to back in that capacity, and you have to be dealing with the Dodgers all over again.
Well, we have we have the important topic to discuss, really, which is Fat Joe versus Ice Cube on the other side of this break. That's the real topic here. So don't go anywhere. We're going to get to that right on the other side of these words from our friends. I do want to give a shout out to Desert Financial Credit Union, of course, for sponsoring the count and also for taking care of Arizona for more than 84 years. Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union. They are dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make lives better. I am in my home right now, which I am in thanks to the good people at Desert Financial. They got me started on my home ownership journey, and hopefully they can get you started as well, because rent is so expensive these days. You can look to Desert Financial for checking and savings accounts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and so much more. When you open a free checking account online, you can get $200 in bonuses. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200 today. And also
they really make the numbers work well, to the point in which you might even be able to afford 2 pinball games on top of your mortgage. So like that's what Desert Financial is doing.
Now. I mean, that's my own personal wealth. So that's a different story. That's hard work. That's elbow grease that gets you 2 pinball machines. But anyway, I'll tell you, of course, no matter what you're looking for, whether you're just looking for a wonderful hat like these guys you're watching wear, or whether you are looking to get some attention on your own brand, you can check out Branded Bills. They're a local company from right here in Mesa, Arizona. And if you are looking to make your gear stand apart from the crowd, Branded Bills has you covered with the best custom headwear. Not to mention, they got stuff for the holidays. They had some Halloween stuff, which will be here this week. And then after that, we're moving on to the other holiday season. So, of course, got to check out their other designs that they have. But they also have some wonderful Arizona designs if you are a fan of this wonderful state we live in. They have partnerships with ASU and U of A as well as part of their campus collection. So head to brandonbills.com and use that code of PHNX for 20% off your first order. All right. Well, Patrick, the big question, Patty Plantains. This is Patty Plantains time, is the talk of the internet that the Dodgers did have Ice Cube come out and perform before game 2, which was very cool. And Ice Cube has somehow become like this ambassador for the city of Los Angeles, right? We've seen this before. I think I saw Ice Cube perform when they had that first NASCAR event in the Coliseum with the little tight track. So it's like, yeah, when you need someone to come out and represent LA, you kind of have a bevy of cool guys to pick from. You got Snoop Dogg, you got Ice Cube, you got wonderful rappers, all like old school guys like that. You got newer guys. Like LA's just not a city to be trifled with when it comes to celebrities. However, if there's one city that could stand toe to toe with them, it's New York, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about this. Like,
Easily.
yeah, you're bringing out number 67 on the list of top 100 rappers from New York City. That's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it. You're talking to 2 guys here that will have a hard time finding you one rapper from our city to represent our fine city that you would know of, perhaps.
What? Colorado is a hotbed for hip hop, Derek. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know. Well, I guess I thought in general, based on my tweet that caused an argument between you and I on Capadonna's status as a Wu-Tang Clan member, I thought the Wu-Tang Clan would have been electric. That would have been that right era. Like, not to say that Fat Joe's too old, too new, whatever, but Wu-Tang Clan, they are legends, right? And if you could get
there's
them
9
all
of them out, they can play every position.
Well, there's 8 now.
Old Dirty Bastard is dead. His son raps now. What isn't he, Young Dirty Bastard?
That's why I called it Capadonna, Patrick, and you're out here trying to be like, oh, he's an affiliate. It's like the Killer Bees. What are you doing, Derek? The audacity.
All right, my bad.
We need 9. They could cover all bases. Could you imagine if the Wu-Tang Clan took the field?
Dude.
Like, just took the field, ran out like of the dugout like the guys would, and just took the field? And that would be electric.
Action Bronson is hitting them some fungos. Like, they're just throwing it around. Hey, guys, we're turning 2 here. Boom, you got Master Killer throwing it over to Inspector Deck, over to Method Man for the boom, 5-4-3 double play. Come on, let's make it happen, baseball.
Can't have Ghostface and Action Bronson in the same place at the same time.
Well, he's hitting fungo. He's a coach.
But
Bronson is a coach.
who would perform for our teams, Patrick? I know this is hard. I think I would have to get Mega Ran, right, for Arizona.
Oh, yeah. Got it. Collaboration with
I've been
DDE
trying
World.
to just to get free tickets. I've been trying to get him to perform at halftimes at all the shows. No one wants to listen to me. West Side Gun has an apartment out here. I know for a fact. He told me. So I know he reps Buffalo, but he does have a place out here. I mean, West Side Gun would be, I mean, they're the Buffalo kids, but like, come on. Yeah. Let's get, I'm trying. I just can't have the Gin Blossoms perform again. I can't have Roger Clyne and the Peacemakers out there at the World Series. I need better than you guys. At least have the Fray. You guys have the Lumineers.
Aren't we trying to do rap?
I'm trying to find any name brand musical act at this point.
All right, I've got 3 potential folks on deck. All right, so
okay,
have you ever heard of the Flowbots?
Yes, I've heard of the Flowbots.
Yeah, right. I can ride a bike with no handlebars. So they sing that one song for about 4 seconds. Okay. You also have 303. That's the area code. An apostrophe.
Right. Yeah.
That's the area code for Denver. They could do "Don't Trust Me." You tell your boyfriend if he says he got beef, then I'm a vegetarian. I am. That's rap. That's rap, isn't it?
I don't think it is, and that definitely wasn't rap. You're gonna get us DMCA'd. Here.
Tech 9. I'm going Tech 9. He's from Kansas City, but everyone loves strange music out in Colorado. I see the logo everywhere. I'm going Tech 9.
Okay, I'll take it. The correct answer for both teams is Sexy Red. Ski, Patrick. Ski. That's I know. Yeah, see, you're gonna get his copyrighted, Patrick. My God. Anyway, well, I don't know. Again, this is this was one of those things that I felt like the minute I saw Fat Joe come out, especially like he walked on the mound in Tim's, I was like, this spells disaster for the Yankees. And I felt like a lot of Yankees fans were on the same page as that.
Yeah, he didn't change the lyrics of his songs to fit baseball, which I thought originally was going to be a bad idea when Ice Cube did it, instead of, scoring a triple double, which Cube, you're keeping score in a pickup basketball game, but instead he hit a double. So he changed the lyrics there a little bit. I actually was okay by the time I heard it. Fat Joe just did nothing. It really should have just been an Action Bronson concert. Like half of his songs reference Chuck Knobloch and Jim Leyritz anyway.
Yeah. Come on. I'm fine with that. That I'm always fine with. I could listen to him perform Terry with a live band 10 days out of 10. Speaking of other things, Jeffrey says Plunk Junkies. I think he means Funk Junkies. And yes, Funk Junkies. That is a band going down to Buckeye. Also picking up Delilah on the way. I am a huge Funk Junkies fan, so I'm on board with that. But again, another band nobody's going to know. And I think we probably are 2 cities that share that a little bit when it comes to our inabilities to hang with like the Dodgers or New York when it comes to this. I just felt like, honestly, there's something very organic about everything the Mets did. The Mets, I saw a meme about the Mets, and it was them like all huddled together laughing about like the Grimace meme, and it was like somebody on the outside from a different fan base being like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, nothing, don't worry about it. And he was like, that's stupid. And they're like, oh really? We don't care. And that like honestly was the attitude of the Mets and their fan base this entire season, where they just kind of had this stuff happen. It kind of became a funny joke, but it did like kind of give something to the team, right? Like it was some form of motivation. And I don't know, I'm not like, again, I like Fat Joe. I need to say that. But if I was a Yankee and I'm sitting in the dugout watching that performance before I go out there, I'm shaking my head slowly and being like, we lost this one. This one's out of our control.
So if you didn't like Fat Joe and his tattooed beard, I mean, is that he's tattooed a beard on his face? Is that what he's got going on? I think it is. Would you have preferred a hologram Big Pun singing I ain't a player. I just crush a
Absolutely
lot.
not.
Give me
No,
a
absolutely.
hologram
I'm not a
pun.
player. I just crush home runs a lot, right? Yeah, right. Yeah. No.
Get the hologram of Big Pun, man. Come on.
Oh my God.
Who runs the Big Pun estate? Who can we contact to do
Fat
these
Joe.
things?
Fat Joe runs the Big
Oh,
Pun
damn it.
estate.
He blocked his own guy.
That's exactly what happened. They were like, "Hey, can we
Damn.
get that Big Pun hologram?" He was like, "You know, it's better a live Fat Joe performance, and it's also 50% cheaper."
And he rigs all the Terror Squad elections, so he's the president every 4 years.
Course. The Terror
We gotta
Squad.
find a new way.
Yeah, the Terror Squad doesn't have a voice in that
We need
hierarchy.
Capadonna to infiltrate Terror Squad so that he can then become president, and then we can get the hologram Big Pun that we've all wanted.
Look, at this point, we just needed the Wu-Tang Clan to go out there and play this baseball game for the Yankees, because I feel like they would have put up more runs and a better fight than the actual Yankees did tonight. I don't know what they do. I don't know where they go from here. I don't really care. Like, I don't find myself feeling bad for the Yankees, right? Like, and that's the weird part about this whole World Series is no matter who lost, you don't care that they lost. You're kind of happy, and you're not going to be happy that the team that won. And it's just, like, overall. Are you
going to feel bad for Aaron Judge, though, because as
no
playing? No.
You know what I think it is? I think, like, there's times where I think, like, the MLBPA is, like, groaning over the idea that the best highest paid players in baseball aren't performing when the lights are brightest. And you know, again, you're getting that out of Freddie Freeman, but you're not really getting that out of a lot of the guys on both of these teams. So from that perspective, it's kind of like, I don't know, you know, like, I don't know, like, Luke Weaver is one of the Yankees' best relievers, right? And you have, you know, guys that are making a fraction of what the stars are making, that are the ones that are actually putting up a fight, you know, so far in this World Series. And I don't know, like, it makes a case why you don't necessarily need those guys for the postseason, but you do need them for the 162 game regular season, because just based on their ability, the frequency of their abilities to hit a home run, to be big in those moments, is key to get you here. But then once you're here, you know, you got Enrique Hernandez being the one that's, you know, leading the charge with his years of experience. I say Enrique? Kike? Sorry. I don't know. I'm just making up names like
Kike Hernandez.
Yeah.
Come on.
Right.
No, but it's interesting too, because for all the people that are like, oh, Dodgers and Yankees, of course, they spent the most money to get here. Yeah, it doesn't usually happen that way. It doesn't. Yeah, okay. Like the Rangers were in it last year, and you go, well, they spent a lot, right? They were, I think, the 9th highest payroll, but it's the 9th. What about the 8 other teams that spent more than that?
Yeah.
And what about team 10 and 11 and 12 in payroll? Because it wasn't the Diamondbacks. So nothing is guaranteed. That is the beauty of this game. So go out there, play these games, and at the end of the day, think about it like this. Diamondbacks won the Paul Goldschmidt trade. Luke Weaver, get that ring.
That's the craziest thing I've heard you say on the entire time we've ever done this podcast before. Oh my God. No, they certainly did not win that one. Mike Hazen will back me up on it, but I do feel overall like it's fun to watch this. And again, you know what, when it comes to the spending thing, you're right, because it's not the teams that spend the most that are here, or else you would see that more often. It really, the ones that are the problem child are the ones that don't spend a lot that make it far, right? It's the Tampa Bay Rays. It's those teams. It's when they crash the party with their payroll of below $100 million, and then they all of a sudden make it, you know, far in the playoffs. It's the one that then causes the other owners to have pause when it comes to spending as much money as it takes to bring in a lineup that looks like what the Dodgers have or looks like what the Yankees have, right? So a lot of interesting things here, especially if the Yankees lose, in regards to how they will bounce back, what they'll do with Juan Soto, where Juan Soto will go. And again, if guys like that are going to continue to actually be worth the money that teams have to pay in order to have them be a part of their franchise.
It's still early, and it's not even the offseason yet. But what are you giving up here, Derek, to make sure that Juan Soto does not sign with the Dodgers? I don't know if you've talked about that yet, but there are reports that the Dodgers may go after Juan Soto this offseason. what are you offering up the baseball gods in order to make sure that that doesn't happen?
Is this like Lent where I have to like stop doing something?
Yeah,
Oh
you
man.
can't just give up chocolate for like 6 weeks.
No,
It's got to
yo,
be more than
well,
that.
I like chocolate a lot, so I'm not even offering up chocolate. Are you kidding me? Um, I'll give you
Think about it.
I'll give you my bobbleheads from 2011 through 2016. All of them, every single one of them. I don't care what you do with them. You could smash them into little pieces. You could use them for target practice. You could keep them for your own collection. That's the most I feel like I'm willing to sacrifice to keep Juan Soto out of Los Angeles, because I really feel at the end of the day, there's nothing I can do to stop it. And there's nothing any of us can do to stop it. I do like the fact that Maria, our Dodger fan friend, is saying that she thinks it's just clickbait and rage bait. And I probably true there. I mean, that seems like a lot. It seems like a team putting a hat on a hat. And I don't think the Dodgers really need to worry about bringing in guys like that as much as they can just bring in role players like Kike Hernandez that can, deliver in this kind of in this big, big stage.
And besides, Juan Soto's a bum. He's never won an MVP, right? So they're only bringing in MVP players. So
that's right. Yeah. You got to win an MVP in order for me to be impressed.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. You're right. They don't necessarily need those kind of guys, but the Dodgers did just go about their business differently. And I wouldn't be surprised if they looked at acquiring someone like Juan Soto as an opportunity to prevent another large market team to go out and grab one of the best players in the game. They always have tons of money coming off the books. They have guys lining up for their AAA roster to say, hey, I'll take my cup of coffee. I'll contribute as long as I'm healthy late in the year. I'll be on the postseason roster. Maybe I'll get in. I'm going to win a ring. Like, they have guys that will take less money to go to LA to salvage their career or to learn a couple things and fix something. So because of that, I think it allows them to go and have a stars and scrubs kind of roster. And I we'll see if that happens. I would tend to think probably not, especially if the Mets get in on the Juan Soto conversation, which everybody believes to be the case. And I think the Yankees are not going to want to let him go. But it would not totally shock me if Juan Soto ended up in Dodger blue next year. That would be crazy. Put a pin in this one right here.
I don't like it. I don't want to put a pin in it, but I'm going to remember it when it happens.
You need to give up more. You need to give up more than those bobbleheads. You need to give up your killer instinct. You need to give up the killer instinct, Derek.
Right.
Derek,
it's also Battletoads, Patrick.
It's for the NL West. Come on.
Fine. You know what? You can have the Mark Gray slot machine. You can have that. All right. You can have it. It's got a ashtray. It's just in case you need an ashtray. It's got an ashtray. Anyway, on the other side of our quick break here, I'm going to figure out who Patrick would have perform for him at WrestleMania when he comes out, because we're both wrestling fans and we got to get that one in one time before I let him go. So don't go anywhere. We're going to talk quickly about Empire. Empire today, of course, is the place to go for new flooring. And I've been saying it. I know Halloween is here this week. Going to have a bunch of people maybe coming in your house. Maybe you're having a Halloween party. Great time after all those people scram to get some new flooring. Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring. Of course, they have copycats out there, but you know the jingle, you know the OGs from right here in the Valley. Empire Today, carpet and flooring will get you covered with whatever you need. And of course, they will help you keep it simple with a curated product selection. Their philosophy is to help you find what you need, not overwhelm you with thousands of choices and substitutes. So you can also check out Empire Today's Virtual Floor Designer, which is a great way to see how those new floors will look in any space in your home. All you have to do is snap a picture and instantly see how the new floors will look in your home. Empire Today also services their own warranty. So if an issue does arise, they won't have you go down and contact manufacturers and do all that. They'll take care of it themselves. And of course, right now you can schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 discount when you use promo code PHNX. Restrictions do apply. See empiretoday.com/PHNX for details. And we are having so much fun over here at PHNX. We want you guys to come join us for some of our events that we're having. Of course, if you want to come hang out with us, you can come hang out with us and the CHGO crew at the All-City Desert Dual Golf Tournament on November 2nd at the Raven. We'll be there. The CHGO guys are going to be in town for the Cards and the Bears game. and diehards from both markets will be in attendance. Tee times start from 8:15 to 10:45 and include your tee time, your cart, lunch at the turn, a goodie bag, and of course, time with us. That's probably not nearly as valuable as the goodie bag, but it's still fun. Tickets are available at gophnx.com/event, so make sure to join us for that. Also, I'll be hosting trivia night out at Chicken and Pickle in Glendale on November 7th at 6:30 p.m. You could register your team up to 4 people for absolutely free. PHNX and Chicken and Pickle prizes for the top team. So, plus again, you get to be in with me hanging out, which is again might be a negative, but I will be emceeing. So make sure to join us for that. You can once again register at gophnx.com/events. All right, Patrick, before I let you go, I do got to ask you, I know you're not a team, you're an individual. So since you're a wrestling fan and an individual, Wrestlemania, the biggest stage in wrestling, much like the World Series, you're coming out with a match with me against me. We've had a heated rivalry for months. There was things said about dogs that can't be taken back. It was bad. But who are you having perform live at Wrestlemania as your entrance, as your entrance song?
Well, since it's WrestleMania, I would love if Kid Rock performed 800-588-2300 Empire. If he covered that, that would be awesome. But you know what? I'm going to be a little more realistic, and because we're on a hip hop, we're on a. Come on, let's be serious. This is a podcast.
Sorry, sorry. This isn't joking time.
I know. Let's be serious here. I want to make sure I get my $300 stipend for tonight. So, since we're on the hip hop kick, and I'm from New Jersey rappers are a big deal. So I've got my pick. Do I want to go Fugees? All 3. Do I want to go Shaq Diesel? He's a rapper. He did have a couple of songs. No, I am going Reggie Noble, aka Redman. He's coming in with his Timberland boots, stomping. Okay. Maybe we get Method Man to come out just a little bit, but yeah. Redman, Newark, Brick City. Let's go.
Well, since we're talking about places of origin and using musical acts from there, I'm going to have to go to my little tiny garbage island, as someone recently said, Patrick, and I'm going to have to call upon my guy, Bad Bunny, is who I'm going to have, because Bad Bunny is not only going to perform live. Bad Bunny is not only going to perform live, but then he's going to help me whoop your ass, as you know. He himself is a very talented pro wrestler. So that's what I'm calling in. Also, Redman from the Def Jam video game days. Very good character. Absolutely could also hop in and we could turn this singles match into a tag team match real fast. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
I'm fine. Look, and if it gets WrestleMania, that's going to get more butts and seats. And I'd be remiss if I also didn't give a shout out. I missed an opportunity to say hello to Dana Owens, aka Queen Latifah, who did go to the same high school as my dad. So street cred, yeah, I've got it.
Okay, I see what we're doing. You want to pick up those names you dropped? You want to pick those up before we go? All right.
Saying.
I do appreciate your time so much. Even though last year it was under much better circumstances around this time, I do thank you for stopping by. Make sure you guys follow Patrick at Patrick D. Lyons. And of course, appreciate you, brother. Thank you again for your time. Follow me at Cap_Caveman with a K. Of course, we got our guy Shane Diefenbach on the 1s and 2s. You can follow Shane at Shane Dief. That's DIEFF. Of course, our show is at PHNX_D-backs, but all roads do lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys again for stopping by. We will be back tomorrow with another post-game show. I don't know where Jesse is. I don't know if Jesse's ever going to come back, but we'll be back tomorrow.
Sasquatch. Sorry.
I knew it. He didn't. He's not texting me, so that makes a lot of sense, actually. But anyway, we'll be back tomorrow. We hope to see you guys then. Until then, have a wonderful evening. We thank you again for stopping by. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you don't expect Fat Joe to help you win a World Series game.
R.I.P. Jesse.
We all silly like the mayor.